Hey, Mark.
Ken Burgin, thank you very much for coming live for today. Ken, can you tell us a little bit more about what's going on in the market today when it comes to the hospitality business and restaurants in general, and then what is the new normal look like today?
Okay. Well, I suppose I'm a bit like maybe Mark, like you and a lot of other customers. I don't have a cafe or restaurant now, but I'm nervous. I miss going out, just dropping in to have a coffee. I actually like a place that's a bit crowded, but that is absolutely the last thing I want to be in right now. And so I miss it. Since the reopening a couple of weeks ago, I've been out about 4 times. And I have to say, 2 of those 4 times, they've handled the spacing and the sanitizing and just kind of reassurance pretty well. And 2 of them was a joke. And I just think, guys, this really matters actually. So, coming back to the new normal, well, first of all, people are poorer. There's been a lot of money, government money tipped out, but a lot of people have lost jobs or are working on part hours or, there's reductions. So I think that's recognised by people too. I'm noticing things like set menus are less expensive than they used to be. But I think just that thing about people are nervous and they're kind of wary and they're wanting reassurance. And I think smart operators need to do a lot more with that, whether it's, signs or just obvious things about how you're sanitizing the place. Like when I went to a restaurant on a Saturday night, we were a little bit early and they said, we're just sanitizing the table. I thought, oh, I like hearing that, it's just not just like they were resetting the table, they had a tablecloth on it, but it's, that was nice. But then I went to a cafe the next day because I was out of Sydney, and the young guy was doing exactly what they always do when they're not trained. First, they come to clear a table. They clear the table, they grab a rag. First, they wipe the seat where your bum's been, and then they wipe the tabletop. It's like, you're kidding me. Really? Still? And anyone who's watching this now, I don't know if you've ever noticed that. I hope your staff don't do that, but it's just not good enough. And just things like collecting names, there's a purpose for all that. So just the new normal, I think people are kind of wary and nervous and dying to get out and, dying to eat out and enjoy themselves.
I agree with you, man. Do you think we will ever go back to normal?
It's just going to be a new kind of normal, I think, less expensive. I don't know when. I mean, sadly, infections keep rearing up in China in the last few days, and Victoria today, and this limitation of the 1 person per 4 square meters thing. I think it's going to be a long time before that goes. But now that actually makes a lot of places uneconomical. So and quite a few operators I hear, they say we build up our takeaway, or they've changed to takeaway. They're just going to stick with that because opening, say you've got 40 square meters of seating area. Well, normally that 1 square meter per person, that'd be 40 people. Now it's 10 people, and it doesn't make sense.
That is correct. They did mention something last night about expanding it to 50 people from that 150.
Well, they set the caps, the numbers, but they never vary from the 1 person per 4 square meters. So if you're a big pub or a bar, with 200 square meters, great, you've got space for 50 people.
That's correct.
But the little places, they don't. Now, I don't know whether that's going to change, but
so. Yeah. Then, all right. So we're dealing with a new situation. We've been dealing with it for several months now. From your point of view, what do you see where the focus should be to gain as much income as possible to compensate on the limitations during this time?
Yeah. So I actually I put a whole list together the other day about, it's about diversifying your income, because if you haven't got sit down or only very limited, well, what other streams of income can you get? And, if you're just selling coffee and rolls or sandwiches, it's like you think, well, what else could I do? Well, suddenly lots of places have, built up their takeaway business, and even ones that never did it are doing that. And realising that sometimes that's actually quite difficult, and their turnovers dropped dramatically, hugely, 75%, 80% because of this. But if seating does come back, is there a way to keep that extra stream of income going? And the delivery side of it, that's also people are appreciating those poor Uber drivers and delivery drivers in the rain in the middle of winter. Boy, what a job. And when you want to, if you say, well, we're going to do it ourselves, first of all, where the hell do I park? And it's raining, and it's hard. And you can still do it, but you got to actually just decide, okay, what's all the ways we can do this professionally? Do we need to get our own, find a little second-hand Corolla or something like that, or an e-bike, or what's the packaging and the workflow, when the orders come in and the ordering apps and all that? Are we going to do that? So I think out of all this kind of list of possible alternative income sources, I think delivery and takeaway done much more methodically is great options. And, things like meal kits might be part of that too, and where you've got all the bits and pieces of a group of restaurants in Melbourne just started that a few weeks ago. Providor, DOOR, is interesting to see what they're doing. A whole bunch of restaurants combined together, which is a great idea. So there's all the things around that. I guess there's another part of income expansion would be realising that you're actually you can be a retailer as well as just sit down. So, for cafes, especially when people who are proud of the beans they serve, or maybe they even roast it themselves, most, I'd say 95% of places I've seen, their actual retailing, attention to the science and art of retailing is a joke. Now, there's a great guy from Dublin, Colin Harmon, you might have heard of him. He's a barista and runs 3 cafes there. I heard him when he came to Sydney, and he roasts, and he's really strong on this. And he said in his shops, 25% of their income is through beans, take-home beans. Now, that to me, that's the benchmark. And and it's to do with, how you display it, you offer to grind it to people, what sort of grind do you need, all that, the suggested sell, all that kind of stuff. So I think, beans, take-home meal packs, grab and go items, T-shirts and caps. I mean, clothing, is a small thing. But then if you're going to retail it, what a modern retailer's doing, they're not only displaying it, but it's also you can go to the website and order it as well. So I think that's another area worth expansion.
Well, you will even partner up with some home supplier and then resell some of their coffee machines with your coffee.
Absolutely, absolutely. Especially if it's just an online sale, just even if you got 5 or 10%, that is, that's money just for listing it on your website.
That's right, and you don't even have to have it in stock.
No, that's right, and it does show, but the fact that you've got certain brands there and you recommend them, and you might write an introduction about why, this one is the one you prefer to stock, etc. Add your credibility and things like that. So I think things around that. Gift vouchers, where Australia's finally waking up to gift vouchers. It's taken many years, but the last couple of years, there's services now that you can sell those very easily, because I don't want to have to call in or get it in the mail. I just want to do the deed. And, when I think about my friends, none of them need things. They don't need books or clothes or anything. I like to give experiences,
That's right.
Gift vouchers can be a great way, but make it easy, make it easy to sell, frictionless sales, click, 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 those on my, right down to being able to use Apple Pay on my phone to pay for it. I don't want to fish out my credit card. I don't even carry a credit card with me. I don't carry a wallet anymore. So lots we could do around, selling stuff online. That comes with, the prepayment of bookings as well. I mean, both the places I went to on the weekend required prepayment, which I totally accept. And I think there's an opportunity now that in the emergency, let's not go back, because Mark, you and I hear, every now and again, people bleating about, the no-shows and this, that, the other. Now, it's not pleasant at all, but set a higher bar, just...
That's right. And there are people charging a deposit or even the entire seating to be able to go there. And people are paying it, no problems.
Yeah, well, one of these places I went to, they used OBEE, one of the booking services. I had put my card number in, and they didn't actually charge it, but they said they'd be charging $50 ahead if we didn't turn up. So that was really easy, just all on my phone. The other one, which I really wanted to go to, I couldn't believe it, had to download a PDF, fill it out, email it back. It's just like, guys, come on. What century is this? It's not necessary to do that. There are apps now, sure, 4 or 5%, but just, the fee, just especially, I mean, the OBEE one, I think that's a monthly fee, and they didn't actually charge me, so there wouldn't have been a percentage fee for that.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
The other thing I think that people can, no matter what size they are, can really kind of ramp up is everything around events. Now, normally we think of events as, big weddings and those sort of things, but right down to your small space. Maybe, once a month, it's the Monday Wine Club that you develop. Now, develop this stuff yourself. You might have some entrepreneur who wants to develop it at your place. Okay, but see if you could, develop that yourself, or it might be just kind of. Another one that I wish people would do more of is using their space when it's closed as a meeting, offering it as a meeting space, especially restaurants, which maybe are only open at night, because probably most of us have been to boring sales meeting or boring meetings in bland hotel rooms, with white tablecloths and beige walls and all that kind of stuff. Now, the reason organisers like those spaces is because it runs like clockwork. Coffee on arrival, morning coffee, quiet room, uninterrupted, screen, projector, all the kind of standard stuff. But none of that is actually difficult to have set up. I mean, you can get a good screen from Officeworks for $100 or paint one of the walls white or something like that. And projectors cost very little these days. And you're going to have to keep the kitchen quiet because they're used to making a racket maybe during the daytime. But just look at your space, because you can actually create an interesting space and promote it. But just get into the mind of the organiser who wants, a room for once a month, every 20 people for their real estate agents, a local real estate agent group to have their sales meeting. They'd like that,
That's right. I believe COVID-19 has given you the opportunity to step back, look at everything, go back in and work as hard as you can to, one is outwork everybody else in the industry, and then two, get rid of all the distractions and the expenses that didn't mean anything to the business, and plus your personal life. Like, I'd like to get into that too, because a lot of people, their personal life and lifestyle and spending is sometimes absolutely ridiculous, and then they give attention to their business. So
it's interesting to bring it to the personal level too. I think it's like, get rid of the clutter. Let's do a really deep steam clean of the whole premises, because a lot of places are pretty grubby, and again, this kind of reassurance thing, people don't want broken toilet seats or, chipped paintwork on doors and all that. It's not all these little subconscious things that make us nervous. you know.
Especially now, that's right.
Yeah, we want spotless clean, we want sparkling. I call it cleaning theatre. You know, even the way we wipe things down, you know, with bright coloured cloths, and, you know, we, you know, spray the stuff, don't get it on anyone, but, you know, there's lots of things that we could do. And yeah, I like what you say about our personal lives too, because, you know, people are cooking at home and enjoying it, and maybe having friends around, and, well, you know, maybe we can help out with some meal kits or something like that. And a meal kit doesn't have to be El Cheapo, but, you know, I actually, we have HelloFresh delivered. I've been using it for years. I love it. It's really good, just because I can't ever think what to cook.
Convenient, and it does it for you.
Yeah, and people are kind of used to those systems. It's a surprising number of people. So yeah, lots of opportunities there, I think.
Brilliant. Look, there's a lot to do, and I always advise people that there is time. If you don't have the time, find the time. It's not an excuse. You know, we're COVID-19. You can't go anywhere anyway. Might as well invest that time in your business and
yeah,
most of it.
I think something else that people need and probably are becoming more aware of is just being really much more aware of their numbers and their figures, whether it's around the recipe costing or day-by-day wage costing, and getting it all really tight. Because if you've got your bookwork up to date and tight, the minute there's every state government virtually has had $10,000 grants available for small business, but you had to show the downturn in business and, you know, be able to verify it, or certainly be ready if they came to audit you.
That's right.
If your numbers are tight and organised, you just press the button and you produce the P&L and you show, you know, last Easter compared to this Easter. And, you know, I know one operator in 3 days in New South Wales, he got the $10,000 grant in his bank account. I love that.
Brilliant. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, I remember one thing that always comes to mind, and always try to mention it every time that it comes to mind, is there are some chefs, they watch other chefs, or they watch TV and they see celebrity chefs are doing certain things at their restaurant, or serving certain cut of meat or certain ingredients, and they try to follow through. But what they don't understand is some of those chefs, they're not necessarily generating income from their restaurants other than generating income from their TV presence.
Yeah.
You know, so you can't really model someone that has a different strategy altogether. You know, but and then you get in trouble because you're modeling someone for the wrong reasons, and you never make any money. So what's your take on that?
Well, I'm actually, I really want to work closely with the kitchen team, but I think the business owner's profile should be the number one thing that's in lights. I get nervous around celebrity chefs, and, you know, even, look, but even, you know, sometimes you see on a menu at the bottom the chef's name. I'd love to see a few more names there, you know, the chef and the apprentice and the second chef and the restaurant. Let's have, you know, several heroes in there. I mean, these people work damn hard and they deserve recognition. The same as, you know, on a website, I look at the About Us page and sometimes there's not even one name. Is this place run by robots? What I love though is to see, you know, here's the team, you know, and they're all kind of a bunch of, you know, different ages, different countries, you know, older, younger. I love that. You know, it's just like, this is a little slice of the local area. We're here to look after you. We're real people. You know, it's warm and genuine.
That's right. People really appreciate that, you know.
They do, yeah.
Well, that was really helpful and useful already. There was a lot of ideas there, Ken. What would you add to this conversation?
I think, Mark, and it actually kind of comes back to some of the work you do, is we've got to promote like crazy, but we've got to promote in a kind of more genuine, more human way. I think a lot of people, I'm certainly over, you know, pretty plates of food and, crazy drinks and all that sort of thing. I want to see people in pictures. I want to see customers, or, again, the kitchen hand or the barista. But, we've actually got to not just kind of rely on word of mouth, which can often be very slow because there's maybe not much to talk about.
Right.
But we've got to, whether it's, you're the one to advise on, set a small daily Facebook budget for, just building our tribe, building our loyalty on our Facebook page, or steady Instagram posting. To me, Facebook is the kind of number one. I don't know. Where would you put?
Facebook, always Facebook, yeah.
Yeah.
People misunderstand how platforms work, and they think Instagram is the cool platform today. Some people are getting a return on investment from Instagram, but if you want to play on a bigger level and get a massive reach, you just can't go wrong with Facebook. Yeah. I think, add Instagram onto Facebook if you're completely satisfied. But anyway, coming back to my point is we actually have to kind of really promote like crazy, and in a fresh way, not just flogging stuff. People don't want to be sold. That's right. And it's easy today to come out with fresh stuff, because everything that you're coming out with today is fresh. Yeah, yes. It's all fresh, so it's perfect to go and buy media and put yourself out there, because everything that you're trying to do has a novel kind of, it's an experience. It might not last, you might stop doing it. People love that stuff, Yeah. And just be genuine. Boy, it's been a tough couple of months, but we're back. Can't wait to see you, etc., etc. But just don't stop. Start. You've always been hesitating about starting an email newsletter. Jump onto MailChimp or whatever and just start. Just do it. Make some mistakes. The first one won't be nearly as good as the second or third one, but just do it. Yeah, well, email marketing can be a brilliant tool to bring customers back. You got them from your advertising or from word of mouth, then you use email marketing to bring them back more often, and you'll probably even promote any high ticket stuff like your functions and stuff. Because they've already given you money, they've already seen the venue, they already know how it looks like. But then it'll be good for them to know that you do catering, you do functions, you do this, you do that. So, and then you add all of this together, and then you might survive and make it through. Well, we got this combination of being really tough on cost control, but we've got to add on increased sales. And the reflex of a lot of operators is when times are tight, we get the axe out. We cut, we cut muscle. Sometimes we even break bones. But we've got to increase sales. You can't cut your way out of to increase sales. It actually reminded me about something. There are clients that they when the COVID-19 hit, they stopped their budget straight away, and they wanted to pause completely. And there are clients that actually came back and they doubled their budget. And even us at the agency, we've quadrupled our budget to promote the agency, because that's what you should be doing today. But you know what? You'll always get those people. You get people that they understand. It's a kind of personality type too, isn't it? I think there's a sort of some people are very pessimistic types. Personally, don't know what they're doing in hospitality, because I think you have to have a bit of an abundance mentality to do hospitality well. But that's right. Ken, thank you so much for your time. It's been great to talk, Mark. Really enjoy it. Was there anything else you would like to add before? No, look, if anyone's got any questions, drop them onto the Facebook group, and I'll answer them then. Yes. I'll put a link to that article there as well. The article too, yes. On all the different diversification possibilities. That would be fantastic, Ken. Great. And yes, if there is questions, guys, please ask it through, and then myself and Ken will definitely get to it. Ken, thank you very much. Great talking to you, Mark. Cheers. Not a problem. Okay. Until next one. Bye-bye.